Good afternoon, kids. Joe here, and doing a video on my system. My system has come quite a long way. If you guys have watched a lot of my videos, which some of you have, you'll know that in April something happened, and since then I've had to rebuild pretty much everything I have. Don't want you to feel sorry for me, just want to explain why I took a giant step back. When I got to my parents' house, which is where I am now and I'm recovering, I had to rebuild a computer. Didn't have one. All I had was a laptop. Shitty laptop, as it was. So I went ahead and started. Picked up a cheap i3 2120 at a flea market for $10. Got it up and running, changed out the case, did everything I wanted to do just to get an internet machine up and running. Wasn't even interested in making videos, just wanted something that worked. From there, I wound up picking up an i5 2500K, which you can see in this video here. It was kind of funny because it was serendipitous. It came out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting it, and it started the whole process over for me in that I decided to start doing my horse trading. That's what I call it. I don't pay retail. Don't like to, never have, never will, if I don't have to. In very small cases I do, and I usually regret it. In terms of computers, I'm fine with pre-owned hardware 95% of the time. I've only had two major malfunctions, and you can see the first one up here because the other one hasn't come out yet. That'll be following up in another week or so. But I took an i5 2500K that had an R9 280X in it, sold the 280X for more than I paid for the entire system, and then I dealt with that system for a while. Okay, great. When I say a while, I mean like 2 or 3 weeks. And about 2 or 3 weeks after I got the 2500K, an AMD 8350 came up. 8350 or 8320? 8350? I don't remember. Anyways, it was an 8300 FX series, so it was the 8 core, which was actually a 4 core. It just had 8 threads. It has simultaneous multi-threading, SMT, which means basically the cores are Siamese together, so technically 4 core but listed as an 8 core. Okay step up. It worked for processing video and playing some games. It was faster than the 2500K, although I did have the 2500K overclocked to 4.6 or 4.7 gigahertz on water, and it was working fine. So I got the AMD build and I ran with that for quite a while, and I thought I was done, but looking around online, I found, a good deal on a couple of 960 super clocks. So I said, what the hell, might as well get those. So I picked those up, ran those in SLI for a while, and played all my games fine. So I was like, hey, I'm done. Anybody that's a tech guy knows it. You're never done. Even though I'm about to say I'm about as done as I can be, I'm not done. So a few weeks after that, an i5 4670K comes up on Craigslist. Very cheap price. It was like $120, something like that. Well, I go and get it because I figured I would just sell the 2500K. Well, I sell the 2500K for $150. So I'm into a 4670K for nothing. Actually got paid to go get it. But the board it was on sucked. What can you do? I figured I would just deal with it, live with it. It was just a Z87, nothing fancy board, some MSI piece of crap. Kind of don't like MSI, sorry. And a guy on Craigslist, really cool dude, and I've done a few deals with him, had some stuff on there, including an S340 Elite case, which you'll see. I'll put it in the footage here because it was brand new in box. He had never used it for anything. Besides, I think he did one build and then he took it apart. Don't know why. But he sold it to me for a very fair price. It was like $70 for in the box S340 Elite. I went and picked that up. While I'm standing there, I was talking to him. I'm like, yeah, some guy had a cool setup, an X99 setup. And he's like, oh yeah, that was me. I had made an offer on it. The guy backed down, said he needed to keep it. And that was fine, so we left it at that. But he also told me that he was meeting somebody to get a deal on a Z97 board, which is what you need to overclock an i5 processor, pardon me. And he said he'd sell me the board really cheap. So I meet him a few hours later, and he sells me an ASRock Extreme 6 motherboard, decent motherboard, for like $60 plus my H87, whatever that crappy board was. Fair deal, whatever. So now I have an overclocked i5 4670K, I have a water cooler, I have a decent board, I had my SLI 960s. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm done for a while. But then the bug got me again. Don't know why, it does from time to time. And I decided that I want to sell my i5 4670K because I wanted an i7 setup. More cores is better, right? So I put my i5 up on Craigslist and I set it high just because I thought, hey, you know, might as well see if I can get some money out of it. And I actually wound up selling the board, the processor, and some RAM for $300. And then for an extra $15, I threw in an old power supply I had laying around. So $315. Awesome, which means I've actually made quite a bit of money. Well, my buddy who had the X99 board, he decided he would sell it to me because he was working on a custom water loop, big ass board. He had just picked up a i740 something K and he was happy with that, so he was willing to part with the X99 build. So he gave me a good deal on that. Now, I did take his Corsair water cooler because it only had X99 hardware, and I traded in my X61 Kraken. I kind of like the X61 a little bit better, although I'm fine with the Corsair setup. I kind of like the NZXT setup better. But I went ahead and took it, and that's where we are up to a week ago. However, it was on an MSI board. But let me show you where we are now. So obviously the beating heart of any setup is the processor. Under the Corsair water cooler here, I have a i7 6800K. That's a Broadwell E processor, technically the entry level if you want to call it that, but it is a 6-core and 12-thread processor. Not a fan of that board. It's a X99A SLI Plus. Number one, in this case, I can't run SLI unless I stick the other card right there, in which case I need a longer bridge. Whatever. I don't feel like worrying about it. And it's not a very overclocking friendly board, despite what it says, despite what other people have said. I'm having difficulty getting it much over 4.1 gigahertz. And I have a 750 watt power supply. I have it water cooled. As you can see from my temps, it never gets that hot. Voltage, it just does not seem to like voltage. So when I run extra voltage, it likes to crash it. So, oh well, need another board. But let me walk you through this setup. Again, S340 Elite case. In addition to having a Corsair 110i GT cooler, H110i, sorry. It also came with 32 gigs of 3000 megahertz DDR4 RAM. This is ADATA RAM, white modules. It's alright. When the side panel's on it and it's darker, it actually looks red because of the red LEDs inside of the case, and that's fine. The graphics card. I originally sold my SLI 960s and picked up a cheap open box RX470 because I thought, oh well, I can get by. It's just a 4 gig card, no big deal, $100. I'll make do. Well, no, it was slower than two 960s in SLI. So then I went in and they had an open box deal on a 980, and I was thinking, okay, why don't we run with that? Well, that wasn't that great either. Yes, it was faster than an equivalent 1060, but it was just a 980. It wasn't a 980 Ti. It was nothing fancy like that, so I said forget that. So then I wound up with this card. In an upcoming video, you'll see the struggle I went through to get this card because of how cheap and economical I try to be. But this is a Asus Republic of Gamers Strix Edition GTX 1070. This is one of the fastest GTX 1070s out there. which is the reason I wanted it. I got it for a fair deal, which was the other reason I wanted it. And since I'm only running one card, I wanted to go as fast as I can without spending a ton of money. All in, for everything that you see in this case right now, I'm probably out maybe $100 in terms of cash. The rest of it was all horse trading. So I started with an i3 2120, which I still have in a drawer, and I wound up with an X99 i7 6800K. For optical media, most people don't even bother, but I like to have the option. This is just a portable USB powered slimline USB DVD rewriter. It's nothing fancy. It's only USB 2.0, but you know what? I have old games on disc that I like to put on every system I have, so it works well. And of course, an Xbox One controller. I do need to get a better board that has Bluetooth already on it so that I don't have to keep it plugged in like that, but future problem. So yeah, as you can see, I have my setup, and I've done this over the course of roughly 3 months, so it's not like I ran into this full force. I could have done this a little bit faster had I really wanted to, but I took my time, I did it right, so that I minimized my cash outlay to what is equivalently right now about $100. $100 cash plus all the trading up I did from the previous systems. For me, that's a ginormous win. So, what was the point of this video? The point of this video was to show you that you don't have to pay full retail to have an enthusiast platform that performs well, and you also don't have to force yourself to compromise as much as you would think. Yes, I compromised on the board, but I got the board with the processor and the RAM all at once. And to get 32 gigs of RAM, the processor, and the board for practically nothing out of pocket is a huge win in my book. And that's about it. If you have any questions, leave those down below. If you have any comments, leave those down below. I'd like to see your setup, so feel free to link me if you have a video or just send me some pictures. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you aren't. It's down there, the little red banner or the picture of the hat. If you'd like to become a Patreon, go ahead and click up there. If you'd like to see another video, go ahead and click there. I am going to get a P.O. box because I've had a couple of people message me and tell me they want to send me some stuff, so I will make that available as soon as that is done. Otherwise, until next time, talk to you later.